Hello everybody, my name is ICT Phoenix, and I am back to more or less not do a D&D SCP like I did a couple times, twice, once, depends on what timeline this video comes out, but I have been thinking about different weapons you could add, basically, in not Dark Souls, fuck, D&D. Like, different weapons that you can add into D&D, that would be really cool. And most of the weapons, if not all the weapons I'm going to speak of, basically are from Dark Souls. Now, I'm not going to piddle-paddle around, and, piddle-paddle around this topic. I'm just going to, bring up a few weapons that I thought would be cool. One of them being the Storm Ruler. Shush phone. In Dark Souls, Dark Souls 3, the Storm Ruler is just like a very underwhelming sword. You use it to kill one boss and it's over. You never touch that sword again. But it sounds honestly much better in D&D. Because, once you get this, fucking, two-handed sword, it's a two-handed sword, normal 1d6 of damage. I think that's what a great sword does. Either that or a 2d or a 1d8. I think a 1d6 is a long sword, 1d8 is a great sword. Either way, it's one of those two die. I don't remember. But even if I don't know that, either one will still work. You're walking around with a sword that, one, looks badass, and two, at the end of the day, has a secret power. That being, what I've basically decided for it is, the range where you hit someone with the blade is 5 feet. But, the thing about the Storm Ruler is that it always had that wind attack that shot a wave of wind. So I was thinking, why not give that a little bit of an oomph? I thought a 1d4 of force damage at 5 feet. That could be, you swing the blade and it shoots a blade of wind that, basically hits up to, 10, 15, or even 20 if, you want to bump it up if you're a DM. But, you swing it and it shoots a blade of wind that deals 1d4 force damage. That way, it may be more or less useless in Dark Souls, but it is very valuable in D&D. I don't know. I've always thought that this weapon would be, some sort of interesting, item in there. Next weapon that we'd probably talk about is the Farron sword and claw hook. I don't know. I haven't used that weapon at all, but basically you stick the knife in the ground and you spin with the sword. I thought that would be, an interesting thing. If, you had, enough strength and dexterity, you could use both these relatively as fucking super weapons. Unable to, block with them, yada yada. But, you could probably, since the blade, you have a parry in Dark Souls, maybe in D&D, you could do the same thing if you ready an action. Or, if you use an acrobatics roll, if your DM allows, to basically do that exact same attack to do an AoE hit to everyone who has to roll a con save or a dex save to not become prone. That way, you could, if the DM says, with this weapon you do a little bit less damage with that, but you do it to an AoE and you knock them down, that is a super powerful weapon. As long as they're not, Godzilla size and, King Kong size, and you just knock them on their ass. That would be a little bit more of a wah kind of thing. But still, doing that would be an interesting, go with weapons. But you would have to probably have really high dexterity and really high strength. You'd probably have to go directly at as a fighter. And, everything else is just a dumb stat, except maybe Constitution, which, if you're a fighter and you're fighting, that's probably going to be the one thing you need the most. So, strength, dex, and con, everything else is trash with that weapon. One of the other weapons I thought would be interesting would be like the Moonlight Greatsword, considering that, it basically does the exact same thing as the Storm Ruler essentially in D&D if you throw it in there. Except that it's magic damage and it's probably a little bit heavier since, the Moonlight Greatsword's fucking massive. And you would also probably have to like have some sort of intelligence stat that's above 10 to basically use it. That's basically what I was thinking for it. There's not really much, detail added into that one as there is in the other ones, but, it's still a great concept. Maybe you'll do a 1d6 of magic damage or something. This would also lead into literally the next one, which is the Sword of Judgment. Basically, I've used the Sword of Judgment a lot in Dark Souls. Like, with one of my characters, that's their main weapon. Basically, just like, the only two stats that they have is their intelligence and their strength. And those are just all the way up. That making that sword super powerful. But I was basically thinking that, like, I think the spell is Shillelagh in D&D. But basically, you can use Shillelagh as a cantrip as an action for, like, a turn. Like, it takes an entire action a turn to place Shillelagh on this blade. It being, a great sword, so it does 1d8 of damage. Plus that 1d6 of magical damage to that. As well as the ability to do the forward, like, magic blade. Like, as, like, more or less a ranged, not really ranged attack, maybe like a 20 feet kind of thing as a melee hit. Because it is still like, a blade that hits you. It's not like an arrow or something. But that's kind of what I was thinking. That being like a very valuable and versatile weapon in a fight against something that like is resistant to basically non-magical attacks. That'll give that like extra hits and extra magical hits. So it would make it a lot more versatile, and like that extra spell added onto that sword will make anything shred. I think the final one I'm going to talk about isn't even like a powerful weapon. Like, it's something super common. That's probably just the Lothric crossbow. It being, the crossbow that does lightning damage. So basically, it's essentially that. It's just a fancy looking crossbow that does lightning damage. Probably, normal crossbow damage plus, whatever 1d4 or 2d4 of lightning damage you decide to put on it. Or add to it, being, just a launch and, it charges up and just shocks him as, like, flavor text. I don't know. I think those would be, like, the best weapons to have. Because, like, one, they, like, fit in very, very well, surprisingly. And two, like, they could work really, really well. There's a bunch of items that I haven't gone into yet, which, like, if this video gets, like, hella views and it goes down pretty well, hell, I might do more of these. I mean, I probably will, since, I barely upload anything as it is, so if I get a lot of views on this, I know what I'm doing next. And hell, maybe in the future, I'll just go ahead and do, like, a bunch of other weapons in the future. Like, maybe from a few from, like, Diablo 2? That's a game that I normally play. Maybe fucking, I don't know. Slay the Spire, like, the ironclad sword. I don't know, maybe. I don't know, but that's something for future me to decide. And now, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment down below what weapons that I should cover and talk about next time. Subscribe if you're interested in any of the stuff that's going on, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.